can I ask you something that might feel a little too personal? Jake, when was the last time you bought something and instantly regretted it?
Wow, straight into the deep end. Honestly, yesterday. I ordered a lamp online that looked enormous in the photos, and it showed up the size of my fist.
A fist-sized lamp. I love that. And if you've just joined us, welcome. You've landed in exactly the right place. I'm Emma, and this is my ever-so-honest co-host, Jake.
And if you're learning English, you're in the perfect spot. Today we're digging into a topic we all do, whether we admit it or not: our shopping habits.
Before we go any further, let me set the scene. We're here to talk, to laugh, and to help you pick up some real everyday English along the way. And speaking of everyday English, Jake, that little lamp story is a perfect example of buying something on a whim.
On a whim, yes. That means doing something without really planning it, just on impulse. I bought that lamp purely on a whim, and I paid the price. No pun intended, but I literally paid the price.
I love a good accidental pun. So let's start somewhere simple. In general, would you describe yourself as a careful spender, or are you a bit of a splurger?
I'd like to think I'm careful, but the evidence says otherwise. I'm what my grandmother would call a window shopper with dangerous consequences. I browse a lot, I tell myself I'm just looking, and then somehow I end up at the checkout.
So you have a classic browsing to buying problem. There's actually a nice phrase for that. You get sucked in. Once you're looking, you get drawn in and you can't seem to pull yourself away. Would you say that's fair?
That's painfully fair. Sucked in. That's exactly it. It's like the shopping site knows me better than my own family does. It shows me things I never knew I wanted until that exact moment. The algorithms have clearly studied my taste, my budget, everything. It's a little unsettling, honestly, but it's also incredibly effective.
That's the genius and the trap of modern shopping, isn't it? They've learned how to make us feel like we need things we don't. But let's talk about the good side for a second. What do you genuinely enjoy buying?
For me, it's books. I collect physical books, even though I mostly read on a tablet. There's something about the smell and the weight of a real book that a screen just can't replicate. I know it's not the most practical habit, but it makes me happy. And the funny thing is, I have a whole shelf of them I've bought but never opened. I think I love the idea of having read them more than actually reading them, if that makes sense.
And happiness is the whole point, isn't it? I'm the same but with kitchen gadgets. I have a drawer full of tiny tools I've used exactly once. I'll see a spiralizer or a fancy whisk and convince myself my life is incomplete without it. I buy them, use them for a week, and then they just sit there quietly judging my cooking skills.
A drawer of regret, we call that. We could start a support group. Honestly, though, I think that's the heart of it. A lot of our buying isn't about need. It's about how shopping makes us feel in the moment.
That's a really good observation, and there's a phrase for that: retail therapy. We shop to feel better, to cheer ourselves up. I think most of us are guilty of it at one point or another.
Guilty as charged. But here's a question for you, Emma. Do you think retail therapy actually works? Does buying something really make you feel better, or is it just a quick fix that fades?
Honestly, for me it works for about 20 minutes. There's a little rush when you click place order, and then it wears off. I think the real joy comes from the anticipation, the imagining of how your life will improve with this thing.
That's so true. The dream is always better than the reality. You picture yourself cozy and happy with this wonderful purchase, and then it arrives and it's just a normal thing taking up space. It's a bit like online dating. The profile looks amazing, and then you meet in person and realize you've been catfished by a toaster.
Catfished by a toaster. I'm putting that on a mug. But let's pivot a little, because I want to talk about how shopping habits have changed. When you were a kid, how did you shop? What was that experience like?
Oh, totally different world. We'd go to a real store, physically, with my mom. You'd stand in a queue, pay with cash, and you had to wait days, sometimes weeks, to find out if they even had what you wanted. There was no such thing as overnight delivery.
Right, and the patience. I remember saving up pocket money for months for one thing. There was a real sense of anticipation, and the thing you bought actually meant something because you'd waited so long for it.
Exactly.
Whereas now, if I want something, it's at my door in 2 days, sometimes even the same day. The whole experience is compressed into a few clicks. Part of me misses that slower pace and that sense of occasion, even though I obviously love the convenience. It's a real trade-off, isn't it?
So here's a question that always splits people in two. Be honest, do you prefer shopping online or in person?
For me, it's a complete personality split. I love online shopping for the convenience and the choices, but I hate it for returns. Returns are my nemesis. Nothing is worse than wrestling with a return label and a complicated drop-off.
Ugh, returns are the absolute worst. I agree there. No contest. But in person, you can touch things, try them on, and you get to walk out with it right away. That instant satisfaction is hard to beat. There's also just something nice about being out and about, seeing real people. What's your nemesis with physical stores?
My nemesis is the crowd and the changing room lighting. Nobody looks good in that lighting. I think I've aged 10 years in a fitting room mirror before.
Okay, the fitting room lighting is a universal truth. But seriously, let's talk about something a lot of learners ask about. When you're buying, there's a difference between being thrifty and being just plain cheap. Do you know the distinction?
Ooh, good one. Let me try. I'd say being thrifty means being smart about your money. You hunt for deals, you're careful, but you still value quality. Being cheap means you skim on everything, even when it costs you more in the long run.
That's a lovely explanation, and you've nailed it. A thrifty person buys a good pair of boots that last 5 years. A cheap person buys the flimsy pair every year and spends more overall. So which one are you, honestly?
I like to think I'm thrifty. I'll wait for a sale, I'll compare prices, I'll read the reviews, I'll even leave things in my cart overnight just to see if I still want them. But then I'll also do something completely irrational and buy a $40 candle because it smelled nice in the shop. My careful side and my impulsive side are clearly not on speaking terms.
The candle trap. I think we all have a weakness like that. Mine is books I'll never read or gadgets I'll never use. The point is, we all have these little contradictions. There's a nice idiom for that situation, to have a soft spot for something.
A soft spot, yes. That means you have a particular weakness or affection for it. So I'd say I have a real soft spot for stationery. Pens, notebooks, little sticky notes. I buy them and barely use them, but they bring me joy.
There we go, a true confession. So let me ask you this, because I think it's fascinating. Do you think you've gotten better at shopping as you've gotten older, or worse?
I'd say better in one sense. When I was younger, I'd buy things the moment I saw them, no hesitation at all. Now I've learned to sleep on it. If I really want something, I'll put it in my cart and wait a couple of days. If I still want it after the dust settles, then it's a real want, not just a fleeting impulse.
To sleep on it, that's a great habit and a great phrase. It means to take time to think before deciding instead of rushing in. I've started doing something similar. I keep a wish list and I only allow myself to buy something after it's sat there for a while.
The wish list method. It's basically giving your brain a chance to catch up with your feelings. And the funny thing is, most things never make it off the list. You realize you didn't really want them at all.
Exactly. And that alone saves you money and regret. The wish list has honestly been a small superpower for me. So we've covered a lot, but let's talk about the social side. Do you ever shop with friends or do you prefer to go it alone?
I genuinely enjoy shopping with friends for the company, but I've learned it's dangerous. There's a phrase for this too. You can be a bad influence on each other. You both end up spending more because you're having so much fun.
Oh, friends are the worst influences. I fully agree. You go in for a bottle of water and come out with matching jackets. But there's something lovely about that shared experience, the whole giggling in the dressing room thing.
That's true. It's about the memory as much as the stuff. Honestly, some of my best afternoons have been spent wandering around markets with people I care about, not buying much of anything, just talking and laughing and people watching. Those are the times I remember, not the purchases.
And that leads me to a really interesting question about habits. What's the strangest thing you've ever bought or the strangest purchase you've ever made? I'm ready for a story.
Okay, this is embarrassing, but I once bought a life-sized cardboard cutout of a character from a show I liked. It was for a joke at a party, and then it just lived in my room for 3 years staring at me while I slept.
A life-sized cardboard cutout? That is incredible. And did it stay creepy, or did you eventually bond with it? I need to know the full arc of this relationship.
We bonded, honestly. I named it, we watched TV together, but my flatmate finally convinced me to let it go. I donated it to a friend who was throwing a themed party. So it lives on, somewhere out there, with a new family.
That's the most wholesome ending to a cardboard cutout story I've ever heard. Okay, let me bring in a learning moment here, because we've used a lot of great phrasal verbs today without even noticing. Can you spot any you remember?
Oh, lots. We had sucked in, put it in my cart, came out with, let it go, wound things down. Phrasal verbs are everywhere in everyday English, which is why listening to natural conversation is such a good way to learn them. You pick up the meaning from context without even realizing you're studying.
And that's exactly what we're doing today. Here's the thing, learners. Don't try to memorize every phrasal verb you hear. Just notice them. See how they're used in context and let your brain absorb them gradually. It's far more natural than drilling a list.
Well said. That's the whole philosophy of this show, really. You're not here to study a textbook. You're here to listen to two people chat and pick things up along the way. The learning happens almost without you trying.
Exactly. So let's shift gears again and talk about something practical. How do you usually pay when you shop? Cash, card, or that sneaky mobile phone?
I'm ashamed to admit this, but I pay by phone almost all the time now. It's so convenient, just a tap and you're done. And that's exactly the problem, isn't it? It doesn't feel like I'm spending real money. It feels like a game, like I'm just racking up points. By the end of the month, I'm always a little shocked at my bank statement.
Oh, I know that feeling. And there's real psychology behind it. There's an idiom, out of sight, out of mind. Because the money isn't physically leaving your hands, it's easier to ignore how much you're actually spending.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's perfect. I think cash makes you feel the pain. You watch those notes disappear and you're more careful. With a card, the numbers just change on a screen, and somehow that doesn't hurt as much.
So, in a way, our payment methods have quietly changed our habits. We spend more because it hurts less. That's a strange side effect of technology, don't you think?
Totally. And I wonder where it goes from here. I've seen stores where you just walk out and it charges you automatically. No checkout at all. I'm not sure if that's a dream or a nightmare for my wallet.
A dream for convenience, a nightmare for your bank balance. Let's talk about that future for a minute, because I find it genuinely fascinating. Do you think we'll ever go back to simpler shopping, or is it only going to get more high-tech?
I don't think we'll fully go back, and maybe we don't need to. But I do think people are starting to push back a little, especially younger generations. There's a growing trend of slow shopping, buying less but better, supporting small shops and makers instead of big warehouses. It's about quality over quantity.
And that's a really hopeful note, actually. There's a phrase for that mindset, to vote with your wallet. It means you show what you support by choosing where you spend your money. It's a small way to have a big influence.
To vote with your wallet. I love that. It reminds me that every purchase is kind of a choice about the world I want to live in. That's made me think twice before I buy things made carelessly, and it's changed my habits.
That's genuinely meaningful, and I want to hold on to that. But before we wrap up, I have to ask, have you ever had a proper shopping disaster, the kind where everything goes wrong?
Oh, one time on my birthday, I ordered a big order of clothes online. I got so excited, I remember dancing around my flat when it was out for delivery. When the box finally arrived, I opened it up and found I'd accidentally ordered everything in the wrong size. It was like a clown costume party.
A full clown costume order? That's amazing. And of course, returns were your nemesis, so it's a double disaster. Did you manage to sort it all out in the end?
Barely. It took me a week of back and forth emails, phone calls, and finally a trip to a physical store. It taught me one very valuable lesson. Always double-check the size before you hit buy.
And there's our learning moment for the day, wrapped in a story. Learners, did you catch that phrase, to sort something out? It means to resolve a problem, to find a solution. like Jake sorting out his clown-sized disaster.
And to hit buy, that's just the button you click to buy something online. These little everyday phrases are the ones that make you sound natural, not stiff. They're the difference between textbook English and real English.
Real English is exactly what we're going for. So let's start drawing things to a close, but I want to end on a reflection. After everything we've talked about today, what's one piece of advice you'd give to a listener about their shopping habits?
I think I'd say this. Remember the difference between wanting something and needing something. So many of our purchases are wants wearing the costume of needs. We convince ourselves we need that new phone or that fancy coffee machine, but really, we just want them. If you can tell those two apart, honestly, you'll spend less and you'll be happier.
That's beautifully put. And I'd add one thing to that. Buy for your life, not for your image. Don't buy things just to impress other people or to try to be someone you're not. Buy the things that genuinely fit who you are and what you love, and you'll never regret them.
That's a lovely way to put it, and I think it connects back to Jake's story about the books and the stationery. Those aren't practical, but they're true to who he is, and that's exactly why they bring him joy.
That's a very wise thing to say about me, and I'll take it. So here's my final thought for everyone listening. Our shopping habits tell a story about our values, our patience, our little weaknesses, and our dreams.
They really do. When you look at what a person buys, you learn a lot about them. And when you pay attention to your own buying, you learn a lot about yourself too. That's been the real lesson today.
Before we truly finish, let's recap some of the language we picked up very quickly so it sticks. We had on a whim, to get sucked in, retail therapy, a soft spot for something, to sleep on it, and to vote with your wallet.
And don't forget out of sight, out of mind, to sort something out, and a bad influence. That's a full toolbox of everyday English, all from one casual conversation about shopping.
And that's the beautiful part. You didn't have to sit through a grammar lesson to learn all that. You just listened to two friends chat, and the language came along for the ride.
Exactly. So here's my challenge to you, listener. Next time you go to buy something, pause and ask yourself, is this a want or a need? Try to use at least one of today's phrases out loud. That's how it becomes yours.
I love that challenge. And on that note, I think we're ready to wind things down. But before we go, is there anything you want to say to our listeners, Jake? Any last words?
Just this. Be kind to yourself about your habits. We all overspend sometimes. We all have that drawer of regret. Don't beat yourself up. Notice it, laugh at it, and make a small change tomorrow.
That's the perfect note to end on because it's honest and it's kind. And honestly, that sums up the spirit of today's whole conversation. We're not perfect. We just try to be a little more aware.
A little more aware and a little more playful. If you can laugh at your own shopping mistakes, you've already won half the battle.
So as we wrap up, I want to thank you all so much for spending this time with us. Whether you're listening on your morning commute, while you're doing the dishes, or, while you're procrastinating on actual work, we're glad you're here.
Doing the dishes is definitely how most of us listen, myself included. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of this little community of learners.
And remember, learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. It's easy to feel discouraged when you don't understand every single word, but that's completely normal. Every episode, every conversation, every little phrase you pick up is a step forward. Be patient with yourself and keep going.
A marathon, not a sprint. I love that. It's so easy to feel like you should be fluent overnight, but real progress is slow and steady. Keep showing up, and it will come.
And if you enjoyed today, do us a small favor. Share this with a friend who's learning English, or leave us a little review. It genuinely helps other people find the show and helps us keep making it.
Every share, every kind word, it means the world to us. And we'd love to hear about your own shopping habits, your cardboard cutouts, your drawers of regret. We're all ears.
We really are. You can find us wherever you listen, and we read everything you send. It always makes us smile to hear from you.
So until next time, keep browsing wisely, keep laughing at your mistakes, and remember, the best things in life aren't always the things you buy.
That might be the best sentence we've said all episode. The best things in life aren't things at all. They're the conversations, the people, the experiences.
And speaking of experiences, this conversation was one of my favorites. Thanks for having me on today, Emma. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
The pleasure is all mine, as always. And to everyone listening, we'll be back soon with more real English, more laughs, and more conversations that feel like just chatting with a friend.
Same time, same place. You know where to find us. Take care of yourselves, keep smiling, and go easy on your wallet this week.
And maybe put down that fist-sized lamp, unless you really love it. In which case, go for it. Live your lamp dreams.
I'll treasure it forever. But okay, we really should wrap this up now before I order something else online out of pure nostalgia.
Good thing we're not recording a live purchase button. All right, truly, on that note, we're done. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye for now, everyone. Be good, be kind, and remember, buy less, choose well, and make it last.
What a beautiful way to close. Buy less, choose well, make it last. I think we can all take that one home with us. Take care out there, and see you soon.
See you soon, friends. Until next time, happy listening and happy learning.